As a cinematographer, I felt very lucky to go to art school. I went to art school to study sculpture and photography, and then kind of fell into people making films, and we made films with Bolexes and things. If we were to give the young filmmakers in our audience any advice, do you follow the norms? Because I feel like I have a little bit of an advantage because I went to art school and it taught me how to see in a different way. And it's part of the reason that I've have been had some relative success in what I do, because I'm always asking myself, I don't care how they're doing it on the network show. Let's do something different. If I get in trouble, I'll deal with it. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
how? What do you think? Like should young filmmakers be risky, make mistakes, or should they? You know what I mean? You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah. No, I do. I'm of this. Uh, I believe the more you can learn about anything, the better position you are to make decisions for yourself. So for instance, when I came to LA, I got into this acting class with directors in it that Milton Katselis, who was my mentor, taught, where we would work on scenes with actors every class, and I would direct some, and I was in there for 20 years and learned everything I think I know from Milton about how to get a performance, how to direct, make a scene work, how to tell a story, how to stage scenes, all of that. And that was not a film school. That was what I thought was important personally about how to do my job, how to get a performance, how to work with actors. So when I met John Hughes, who also never went to film school, it was a kind of a relation we liked, but that both of us were from the street, for instance, that we were from advertising, and that we didn't go to USC, and we didn't have that background, and we learned on our feet,
Mm-hmm.
uh, fly by the seat of our pants, kind of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's both. I think case by case, of course, everybody should know that they're going to have to take a risk if they want that reward. You're going to have to take a chance. You're going to have to sacrifice and give up to try and get what you want. And it's going to be dangerous and for all of us as
Yeah.
artists. And then at the same time, I think learn and study and educate yourself as much as you can in the area that of your art. For me, it was acting.
Yeah,
For
that's
you,
cool.
it was cinematography. For
Yeah.
others, it would be production design, and so on. So it's a combination plate to me of both.
Yeah, it's funny because sometimes I get young cinematographers that say, "How do I get to where you are? Or what's the trick?" And I kind of have one kind of go-to answer is take a camera, put it around your neck, and go travel the world and learn
Yeah,
how to
that's
learn how to see.
I
You
think
know,
that's the answer. Yeah.
you have to go experience different cultures. You know, two of my favorite cinematographers in the world, Vilmo Sigmund and Laszlo Kovacs. You
Yeah.
know, these guys both came from Hungary at the same time. You know, escaped out of Eastern Europe at the same time, came into Hollywood. Both have had incredible careers. Like they somehow got in there, you know, and I think it was because they came from another culture, so they could see differently. You know what I mean? They looked
Yeah.
at the world differently.
Of course, and it's not any different for any artist, I don't think, Evans, in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah,
life. You have to experience life to be able to mirror it. And so, yeah, most important is to live and then to be able to use what you learn. But in terms of the actual mechanics or nuts and bolts of your craft, I tell directors, get into an acting class, learn how to work with actors,
yeah,
find a way to figure out how to work with actors, because when you get on a set, the first thing that's going to happen is the producer's going to introduce you to the actors, and you got to figure out how to work with them. You got to make that scene work. Period. And
That's
and
right.
and if you don't do that, you're not going to last. You're not going to have a career.
Yeah. Do you think it's important for the young filmmakers out there to study the way it used to be done?
Oh, I believe for me, always, I'm a big, fan of all these directors and their work from way back. But I don't see how it could hurt. Why not? I mean, history repeats itself. Why not see uh, what these great cinematographers did and learn from that? And of
Yeah.
course, I think. And many times, all those years I was working with a company that made trailers, I would just by osmosis, uh, you know, learn. And I don't think I was even conscious of it, but I was like watching what Coppola or Scorsese, all the people we work with, choices they made on the rough cuts of those movies, and that was better than any film school because
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I I was like, and we had to watch it over and over and over to make a trailer out of it, and so I think that's studying the old school work, and it
Hmm.
can only elevate your work.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree totally. I had an interesting conversation recently with a young up and coming DP, and I was explaining my frustration about how first ACs don't sit at the camera anymore and next to their camera and manage their camera. They're off in Focus Island or on behind the set wall or something. And this young DP could not wrap their head around why that's important. It literally took like a half hour of explaining like why that's important to the process of filmmaking. And again, it's kind of like we don't want to lose these things that have taught us. I mean, we've been making movies for almost 100 years. You know what I mean? Let's not forget they figured it out in the 30s. You know.